protection plan. Y'all, Joe Biden wrote up an eviction plan and Congress denied it this morning. So they have to rewrite. Anybody that's been facing eviction since August 1st, the eviction extension was denied this morning. So they still have to try and make up an emergency one by the end of the month if you are facing eviction by August 30th or September 1st. So yeah, y'all just know that y'all gonna have to wait till September 1st to get your eviction beats tap in. I might be able to holler at them for you before I leave what he does.
What's up, you guys? Here. Democrats are taking a big step.
That sound like Facebook and YouTube to me.
President Biden's Build Back Better agenda.
During the previous House vote, which actually gave way for the advancement of the stimulus. However, the situation is bound to get even trickier to handle as they now work on craft.
Legislation ain't gonna do shit but keep voting and lagging on paying us our motherfucking money. That's what legislation gonna do. You just gotta think, government collect so many millions of dollars in sales tax every single day. Like every day. Like not one day goes by that the government doesn't have a stack of papers of sales tax that they already taking long to give us our money back.
An expansion of housing credit. Could they actually have this in the spending bill? Texas Governor Greg Abbott has banned virus vaccine mandates in the state, regardless of the vaccine's approval status. What's happening down there in Texas? We'll discuss all of these and more in today's video and provide the latest updates on the fourth stimulus check and recurring stimulus check updates. So definitely stick around to the end. But first, I want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And for those who are brand new to the channel, my name is Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, cryptocurrencies, stock market updates, and of course, stimulus check updates and stimulus package updates. So if you have not already, hit the subscribe button, join the family, and tap the notification bell so you're notified just as soon as I release new videos and updates. And let's go ahead and get into it. Now, guys, if you are not aware, many economists are speculating that inflation will continue to rise as this pandemic goes on. There might be a risk of hyperinflation as well, and that's really not good news. Now, as inflation rises, the prices of everyday goods and necessary items also rise. The daily budget that you're setting aside today might not be enough in the coming months, as prices could skyrocket to almost double their price today. That's just the truth of inflation and what may actually come into fruition soon. So how do we prepare for this and ensure financial security for ourselves and for our families? Lately, I've been looking into gold as an investment to be able to protect myself and my family against inflation and the possible expensive prices to come. Now, of course, you guys should always consult with a licensed professional advisor before making any financial decisions, and this is definitely not financial advice. But if you're curious about how I may be preparing for the coming inflation and why gold may be the pick to hedge against inflation, then you should definitely get your free copy of the special report on gold compiled by a team of millionaires that explains exactly why billionaires are stockpiling gold right now. Question is, what do these billionaires know that we don't know yet? Get your free copy of the gold report in the description down below. So here's your daily update on the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill and the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. The Democrats have just taken a big step toward achieving their grand plan with President Biden's Build Back Better agenda and their very first victory during the previous House vote, which actually gave way for the advancement of the stimulus. However, the situation is bound to get even trickier to handle as they now work on crafting legislation to pass more than $4 trillion. This is crazy, $4 trillion in brand new spending. You want to talk about inflation? Here we go. But the question is, what is the next step here? Let's go and dive into this. It says here, in the coming weeks, Democrats aim to approve a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan and up to $3.5 trillion in investments in social programs. Passing both will require a heavy lift as leaders will need to satisfy competing demands of centrists wary of spending and progressives who want to reimagine government's role in Americans' households. The House is leaving Washington until September 20th after taking key steps toward pushing through the sprawling economic plans. The chamber on Tuesday approved a $3.5 trillion budget resolution and advanced the infrastructure bill as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi promised centrist Democrats to take up the bipartisan plan by September 27th. The Democrats' plans remain the same, though. They will not allow the bipartisan infrastructure bill to move forward first without the stimulus bill. In fact, it took an extended session for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to convince the centrists to cooperate with this plan. Centrists and progressives finally agreed on a compromise that states that they will take up the bipartisan deal by September 27th. Now, as a result, this means that the Democrats must have finished crafting legislation for the bill by that date. And if they don't, the group of moderates will certainly have something to say that will cause commotion in the House, which would inevitably cause a delay. But let's continue. Now that both the chambers have passed the budget measure, Democrats can move without Republicans to push through their spending plan via reconciliation. Party leaders want committees to write their pieces of the bill by September 15th.
They keep talking about bipartisan and reconciliation.
One massive measure that can move through Congress. Committees could start marking up legislation.
Let me stop it right there.
Party leaders face a challenge in coming up with a bill that will satisfy.
Excuse me, sir. Let me just interrupt you real quick to explain to the community exactly what the fuck is going on here. So, when he says reconciliation and budget reconciliation, he's thinking of how are we going to pay back all that PPP loan money we gave out. He's thinking of how's we going to pay off all of the eviction protection plan shit. In reality, and the unemployment. In reality, let me tell you something. Unpaid rent debt only totals about 21 to 22 million in the United States, spanning across this whole country. The budget for eviction protection and for unpaid rent is over 43 million. That's enough to pay the debt and then pay it again. Like, they have the fucking money. Let me tell you what bipartisan and reconciliation is. So the reconciliation for the budget, this is their economic budget for the U.S. What are they? How can they make a $15 minimum wage? How can they afford monthly child tax credits expanding past January of 2022? How can they extend unemployment? This is all reconciliation. Is where are they going to find the funds to cover these packages and these budgets? Bipartisan. Let's go back to what this man just said. He said there is enough Democratic and Republican support for this bill, for these packages, that the Democrats can go ahead and fund the bill into law with their own money. That means if the Republicans don't want to pitch in their fair share to fund this bill and this program, the Democrats can afford to do it by their goddamn self, and they can use Kamala Harris as the tie-breaking vote as long as they have 50 Democrats in the House in favor of this bill. That's what reconciliation and the budget reconciliation package plan bullshit words are describing. And that's what a bipartisan bill is. It's when bipartisan is like bisexual, it's like two, male and female, right? Bipartisan is like Democrat and Republican. Just like we was talking about this whole on my show earlier, talking about I'm bisexual. I said I was bisexual. So that must mean I want unfaithful, cheating, casual sex. No, that's not the case. Bisexual means either male or female. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean trisexual. Trisexual is like you'll try anything. I'm not trisexual. I'm bisexual. That means I don't care who loves me, if it's a man or a woman, as long as they love me. You know what I'm saying? As long as I love them. So anyway, back to what we was talking about. Bipartisan means the Democrats and Joe Biden is basically trying to stall out to the last minute to force the Republicans to put their money in with the Democrats to support another stimulus package. The Democrats don't have to do that, however. They can just fully use Democratic funding to supply us with a forced stimulus package. That is why people's pissed off at Joe Biden, because, like, why is you trying to get the Republicans on board if obviously they're blind to the fact that the American economy is the American working class are the motherfuckers who fund and run the American economy. So, I mean, just pretty simple A and B shit. A lot of people don't believe in welfare and believe in slaving every day for a minimum wage. Okay, that's cool and shit, but when it's hard for you to save money and pay shit off in advance, then you're gonna wish we had some type of program, savings program or credit program, and then it's gonna develop into some type of welfare. So I understand if you might think that in your head you're a Republican and a conservative and nobody needs welfare, but let me just say this. What happens to all the groceries that expire? Do they get ate or do they get thrown away and wasted? They get thrown away and wasted, right? Unless somebody has the kindness in their heart to donate those groceries to a homeless shelter or a needy family, that's food going to waste. Free food, free bills. You buy the food, you don't sell it, you still paid for it, and you didn't get to do nothing with it. Welfare, food stamps. You see what I'm saying? You see how that benefits each other? Each situation benefits each other. Like, bro, I'm not going to eat 10 pounds of rice in 1 month. I like rice. I'm Asian. Don't get me wrong. I'll eat it with every meal if you ask me to. And if you challenge me to a rice eating contest, I will eat until my little rice-filled heart is content. But, motherfucker, if there's extra rice, for God's sakes, give it to the hungry kids down the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. So, I say all that to say this. Maybe Republicans and Democrats would agree on a reconciliation package to refill, to fill back up the budgets that were emptied out in the loans and all of the raising the minimum wage campaigns and things like that. Maybe that's something that you do need both Democratic and Republican approval on. Refilling the budget and taxing millionaires and corporation billionaires. Taxes over $40 billion was made by corporations last year in profit and was not taxed. That's something Republicans and Democrats probably should agree on before they start spending other people's money. But when it comes to giving us our fucking money back and you can afford it by yourself and it's in the Constitution and we still have to pay sales tax every fucking day. We didn't get rent and utilities waived. We didn't get free healthcare. God damn it, we barely got free vaccinations. Other countries got all of that, plus stimulus checks and unemployment, and their rent and mortgage fees waived and paid time off, and free healthcare. There's no reason why our country, as the most technologically and wealthy and medically advanced nations, I think it's only like 3 nations as well developed as us. You know what I'm saying? That's less than we could count on one hand that has this much money in technology and healthcare and medicine. But yet we're the ones who can't get it together with a payment, with rent, with homelessness, with healthcare clinics, vaccinations, sanitation, this social distance learning, social distance work, working from home, remote learning and remote working. We should be the leader in precautionary tactics against an airborne pandemic. We are that advanced. We are that wealthy. We don't got none of that. So while you guys is collecting sales tax every day, government, and you know damn well you by yourself can afford to help us with a stimulus check, and you see all of our eviction protection and food stamps and unemployment running out, And you see all these places is not operating the same. They can't afford to pay workers more than 25 hours a week unless it's a warehouse job. And you're going to have to work 5 to 7 days a week. And you're not going to be able to do anything else in the daytime for the entire week or for the rest of your life. The way our workforce in America is structured right now is working against us and working against building a foundation in a home and running a happy and successful household. This is burning us at both ends, and it's not paying us enough, and it's forcing us to make decisions between education and bill money, rent money and food money. All of this, you have to pick one or the other. $1,000 is not enough. If you're a working adult, you have to make $24,000 fucking dollars to make it out of the lowest working class bracket of taxpayers. You think these motherfuckers giving us $1,800 a year in stimulus check money is gonna take us to the next tax bracket or put us in position to grow our life or business? No, it's not. And I'm not saying everybody and their mama should get free money. Some people got kids right now and is receiving $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. Some people have income tax, federal yearly income tax credits and benefits that for thousands of dollars and things like that because their business had to shut down. Some people is receiving PPP loans. Some people is receiving SBA loans, but some of and food stamps, but some of us is not receiving none of that shit. Some of us only have unemployment. Some of us don't even have a fucking mailbox to receive a goddamn stimulus check in and praying for another direct deposit. The American adult working tax credit is not only beneficial, but necessary. Everybody is not in the same financial situation across this country. Some people are students and don't have no goddamn unemployment to file for. No money. No previous employer to collect unemployment from. Some people don't have kids and cannot qualify for low-income housing anywhere in this country. No address. Receiving mail at a P.O. box or a homeless shelter. If it makes it. If it's not denied because some banks and legal services and businesses don't accept a P.O. box as a home address. Me personally, I'm speaking from experience. I've been waiting 6 months for a debit card. I've used 3 addresses. So I feel like every type of American should have some type of funding and assistance here. So with that being said, y'all keep that in mind. Democrats can afford a forced stimulus package. They're trying to stall out to the last minute to force Republicans to pour their money into it, invest into it as well to bail out the American economy, and may be able to use Kamala Harris for a tiebreaker vote to do a bipartisan package without Republican support. So just remember that, y'all, while they're thinking of reconciliation,
centrists who want to trim back the
fixing the
$3.5 trillion price tag, and progressives who consider it the minimum Congress should spend. As 1 defection in the Senate and 4 in the House would sink legislation, Democrats have to satisfy a diverse range of views in order to pass their agenda. This feels like a big, complicated legislative game of Tetris, if you ask me. Now, satisfying all of the Democrats,
they're playing Tetris with our money.
For the party to be able to overcome.
They're trying to see what fits where. I'm great at Tetris. They should totally hire me for that.
How it's going to get done.
If it's
Some
Tetris,
like Joe Manchin
call me. My mom, she's great at Tetris.
$3.5 trillion price tag, saying it's too much. A group of moderates in the House wants the bipartisan infrastructure bill done before working on this reconciliation bill. The icing on the cake here is that they cannot afford to lose any Democrat. Losing just one could lead to more losses, and that could mean the failure of the bill altogether.
So pass it now.
Tedious negotiations
while you have all the devs on board
in the coming days. More news comes out about the Democrats and the bill. Also,
like, who cares? You're gonna get your money back. We have to buy more shit tomorrow.
Pieces of the bill. That's less than 3 weeks from now. That may sound like a short span of time in order to craft something so important like this, but for these lawmakers, this is normal. On top of that, September 15th will be less than 2 weeks away from September 27th. So now you guys can kind of see the timeline that the Democrats are working with. There's definitely a sense of urgency coming from them.
Yeah, because y'all late.
Get this done as soon as possible. Given the magnitude of this legislation, passing it quickly could prove difficult. To appease congressional progressives who have prioritized passage of the budget bill, Democrats could move to pass
both proposals at about the same time. So, okay. They're trying to say reconciliation and the fourth stimulus check package is being dragged out longer. Might not get passed until the 15th to the 27th. They're expecting it to get past the 15th to the 27th, meaning everyone whose unemployment expires on the 6th. You'll have to go a week or two before you know if you're going to get another extension or not, or be able to or not. So, yeah, they're not telling us shit. They're just telling us that Nancy Pelosi and Schumer are fucking, and the Republicans and the Democrats are yelling at each other and telling each other to take shit out of the package, like eviction protection, like the one-time stimulus check payment, like, you know what I'm saying? Adult working tax credits, monthly stimulus payments, continuing residual payments, things like that. They're all arguing over it, just like how they took the $15 minimum wage out of the last stimulus check proposal. Like, it sucks, bruh. It really sucks. We're talking about
both.
We're talking about
the same time.
People getting evicted and unemployment running out and gonna have to be broke, and everybody swarming to apply for the same job. Like, this not finna be a good look for the government at all.
September 30th. So now House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is saying that the September 27th target date is non-binding, which makes this a bit confusing. Nonetheless, the critical information to understand here is that they must pass the bill before September 30th. Could they actually get this done though? They're actually aiming to get the infrastructure bill on President Biden's desk by October 1st. So it's almost a certainty that they're not going to be extending their deadline up to October. Remember, there is a lot at stake here. The infrastructure bill and the stimulus bill are two of the most extensive packages ever in U.S. history, and the things that they want to include are game changers. Their ultimate goal, after all, is to help the American people, according to them. Now, the plan would expand Medicare, paid leave, and childcare, extend enhanced household tax credits, and encourage green energy adoption while hiking taxes
let
on
workers and
corporations
let poor people get some money.
Here are just the iceberg.
What is y'all doing?
There are so many things that the Democrats can put there, and one of those could be fourth stimulus checks and monthly recurring stimulus checks. Now, they haven't mentioned those yet, but that doesn't mean that they won't bring it up soon. What do you guys think about this, though? Will they add a fourth stimulus check in there? All the other benefits are already great, so why not add even more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll tell you what though, guys, I'm staying optimistic. Up next, House Democrats are calling for stimulus bills to include an expansion of a housing credit. Do they actually have this in the spending bill? You might want to hear this, but let's see. A group of more than 100 House Democrats is urging congressional leaders to include the expansion of the low-income housing tax credit in a forthcoming social spending package that advances President Biden's economic agenda. Now is the time to expand and improve the housing credit to tackle America's affordable housing crisis in a meaningful way that leads to stronger and more productive communities, greater economic mobility and job growth, as well as better education and health outcomes. This is what lawmakers wrote in a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as well as House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Now, this isn't actually the first time that a call for more affordable housing came up in Congress. In fact, I remember sharing with you guys just recently that Senator Ron Wyden unveiled a bill aimed at making housing more affordable. And now, more than 100 House Democrats are urging that they must include an improvement on housing credit in the stimulus bill. You see how they're adding more and more things
housing credit, adult working tax credit, the last stimulus check package had a child tax credit.
Say that this is not an unusual thing to see, and it's likely part of the Democrats' agenda. Now, if they can get this done, we could see more.
If y'all making
housing,
money,
less homelessness.
Here's my cash app, yo, because they fucking bullshitting.
Monthly 250 or
let me tell you something. I don't qualify for no child tax credit. I don't qualify for no food stamps and shit. I barely might qualify for food stamps if I reapply. Motherfucker, I might barely qualify for an SBA loan this year. that I was never able to qualify for before. But let me tell you something. They're trying to come up with housing tax credits and adult workers tax credits. The reason is because the stimulus check is what we had was not enough for it to be put into quarantine, for us to have to lose our jobs, and for us to have to wear a mask and stay social distance and abide by a curfew. They're not funding the economy enough for what they've taken away.
Suburban and rural areas. And they noted that their measure has the support of many lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, as well as from stakeholder groups. It turns out that the bill that they're pushing for has bipartisan support. Surprise, surprise, right? And that's definitely great to see. This bill actually provides a solution to the U.S. housing crisis that we've been facing for a long time now, even before the pandemic. Now, with the goals that they listed, I could see how this could work. But the question is, will they actually include this in the stimulus bill? We don't know that for sure just yet, but there is a possibility.
My beef with the government is they don't have shit for single women with no kids.
How could they pass up on
unless we're drug addicts or abused or something fucking wrong with us?
If you're renting right now, but you would
we don't have good credit because our family fucked it up and abandoned us and ruined our lives, or somebody ruined our lives, whether it's relationship, family, job, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
Hit me up in the comments down below.
They don't have nothing for us to safely be able to have a place to live
banned the virus vaccine
without a cosign,
regardless of the vaccine,
without working 2 and 3 jobs
down there in Texas.
You know what I'm saying? Without scamming, without doing something wrong.
Right? But let's find out. It says here that Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order on Wednesday banning any governmental entity in the state from requiring a virus vaccine regardless of its approval status. The move comes just days after the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, granted full approval for the virus vaccine for Pfizer and for BioNTech. So this ban comes as Texas cases due to the virus continue to rise and spiral out of control. Schools have also reopened in Texas, but some of them have begun closing down again.
So what you need to know about the vaccine, right?
Now the Biden administration has been quite vocal in
what you need to know about the vaccine is that they said it does not work against the Delta variant of COVID-19. Not only does it not work against the Delta variant of COVID-19, but if you have the vaccine for COVID, you can still catch it from somebody who's not vaccinated just simply because they're a carrier. Some people are super carriers. Some people have been infected with the disease multiple times since the beginning and just never knew or showed any symptoms, and they're spreading COVID. I got sick again at the very beginning. My coworker got sick. I never got sick again. Maybe I have one of those immune systems that is one that would qualify as a super carrier that even if I got sick, I would not show symptoms. But thankfully, I work across from a COVID testing site, a free testing site, where people have to get their test, their approval to return to work or school. So if any symptoms or any reason, I could go just there across the street and check it out. But again, Delta variant, they say the vaccine has no effect on it. They say unvaccinated individuals can still affect those who have been vaccinated. So you're not really truly immunized when you take the vaccine. Again, that has been a lifelong argument throughout the U.S., calling it immunized when you get a vaccine if you could still get sick. So y'all, please be aware of those things. I think I'm gonna let the rest of this video play, and then we're gonna get into some instrumentals, y'all. Again,
saying that everyone must be vaccinated, and they support
5:23 really quick before we continue. 5:23 p.m. y'all here on the West Coast, Northern California, Stockton, California to be exact, baby. My name is the Mrs., aka Cherry Franklin. This is the Cherry Franklin Show. Y'all make sure you follow and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for latest updates, live streams, and posts and shares for events and flyers. And we come on here every day to tell y'all, please visit change.org and vote.org to vote and make a difference in your city and state. I want to shout out Dope Air Magazine. They've been on most of the lives for this week. I also want to shout out MDB Trumpet. That's $1 Million Band Trumpet Line player, the owner of Nick Snacks and Crafts. Their paid business page also on Facebook, y'all. And a couple of other people for coming on. Let's also thank the warehouse. Let's also thank who else should we thank, y'all? Let's shout out Prince Jew out in Florida doing a show tonight. Let's shout out my godson also, who came on the Cherry Franklin show on one of the background lives, I think on the 209 Mrs. page for Instagram. Also, who else? Yeah, who else? Diamond Candy EMT. Who else? Anybody else? We did have a couple other artists come in. I just can't think of who else exactly it was. We do got some screenshots though that we will post probably by the end of the day. Today is For the Record Friday, y'all. We're gonna finish this news clip, and then we're gonna get into the background and instrumentals, y'all. Again, 5:23 now, 5:25 p.m.
Mandate. So why is
1
Governor
hour
Greg
and 5
banning
minutes
vaccine
past
mandates in
4:20.
Texas? I really don't know the answer to that, and I'm not trying to lead your opinion or sway you to one side or the other, but I'm just wondering, like, what do you guys think the reason behind this is? I'm just sharing the news here as it is, guys. You guys know I'm not Democratic, I'm not Republican. I try to be right down the middle because, you know, I don't fully agree with all Democratic standpoints, and I surely don't fully agree with all Republican standpoints either. Personally, I think that from both sides, you know, for me, I'm just kind of going with who's closest in alignment with my own personal at any given point in time. So kudos to the Democrats sometimes, kudos to the Republicans sometimes, really just depends. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this one? But let's continue. It says here, according to the order, no governmental entity can compel any individual to receive a virus vaccine. It did not mention employer mandates and preserves exceptions for places such as nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and state-supported living centers. The order also maintains an existing ban on publicly funded facilities requiring proof of vaccination as a condition of entry. So while there are many of these banned from mandating vaccines, there are still exceptions. And I guess it makes sense though. The people in nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and state-supported living centers are among the most vulnerable groups with a great risk of acquiring the virus. Outside of Texas, the full federal approval of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine on Monday led to a host of new vaccination mandates by private and government entities. The situation outside of Texas is quite different as new vaccine mandates have come up since the full approval of the Pfizer shot. So as more states continue to implement vaccine mandates, could Texas possibly join this soon?
They'll be like, what the hell wrong with your eyes?
Now, if you're from Texas, do let me know what you guys think about it. Our community is all about engagement and discussion, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And let's be nice to one another. I really appreciate you guys. So anyway, guys, that's all for the news on your fourth stimulus check update, recurring stimulus check update. And also, if you're curious about why I'm choosing gold as an important investment right now and how I'm actually preparing myself and my family against the coming inflation, be sure to check out and get your free copy. I'll drop a link down below in the description. You'll also see a link to be able to access your free
that
gold
little $100 bill up on the
report
screen
in a pinned comment down below. Just hit the link, grab your free report, and you can see what's up. You can see what billionaires are actually doing with their money and how we may be able to come up as well. I've always asked the question, you know, what exactly do these billionaires know that we have yet to figure out, right? Get your free copy by using the link in the description down below. I hope you guys appreciated it all. If you haven't already, if you like this video, definitely subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know as soon as I release new videos and updates. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care and be safe, guys.
All right, y'all. So y'all heard all of that shit. I got so mad. I started getting mad. I started looking at my best friend, $1 Million Van Trucking Line, owner of Nick's Snacks and Crafts. I started looking at her like, excuses. They say they want to. They say they going to, but they just don't. All these excuses. Like, I kept looking at her. She done got mad and got out the chat. Like, she don't know what to tell me. Like, like most of the shit I was saying, she would just like make a face and agree. So, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to console my troubled heart on these matters. Again, Democrats are able to pass it now. They're trying to stall out Republicans, get them to invest in the last minute. Eviction protection was denied this morning. It needs to be rewritten, reintroduced, and re-voted on. They're looking at voting again by September 15th. Their initial passing target date was September 27th. That does leave us all about 1 to 2 weeks unfunded and unprotected here in the United States, without unemployment, without eviction protection, and only the child tax credits continuing, and SBA loans, payment protection plans, PPP loans. Okay, those applications have been closed. There's no applications being accepted anymore. So a lot of stuff going on, y'all. Like I said, a lot of stuff. But we get on here every day to tell y'all the same thing. Please do what you can, where you can, when you can. Visit change.org and vote.org to make a difference in your city and state. Change.org to sign the petition for the 4th stimulus check. Justice for George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Justice for Breonna Taylor, Vanessa Gillen, Elijah McClain, Ma'Khia Bryant, and Adam Toledo. Justice for the 8 Black men and women found hanging in the United States since the death of George Floyd, March 25th, 2020. Y'all, again, Ahmaud Arbery, a big, huge case in Georgia, very important, very relevant to the George Floyd Justice Act of 2020, as well as Breonna Taylor, very important case. Ma'Khia Bryant, Adam Toledo, a Black girl and Latino or Mexican, Hispanic, whatever you want to call it, young boy, both also killed by the police. Instead of any tasers, any pepper spray, any tackling or batons or anything, they were shot and killed on police camera. So y'all, if you are supportive of the police reform petitions, y'all please visit change.org for the justice for the say their names hashtags is very important, as well as the 4th stimulus check. Y'all, it's a fly buzzing on me in here. I have got to fade to the background and kill this fly before I go crazy in here. My eyes is turning green, like I'm getting mad. Like this, I can't make it up. I don't have contacts. My eyes really doing this. I'm really mad, and this fly is really flying by my ear. So, vote.org to make a difference in your community for legalizing businesses, the amounts of business licenses available, community programs, homeless shelters, after school programs, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, free lunches, social distance learning, and education transportation, as well as public housing, homeless shelters, public transportation, free healthcare clinics, Planned Parenthoods, politicians running for office, and propositions being written into bills and laws being passed and voted on in your city and state. And y'all, if you are low, that's at vote.org again. And y'all, if you are low on funds or low on health insurance, please visit mdsave.com, as in Dr. MD, and save you some money. mdsave.com for online underground coupons and vouchers for medical and hospital needs and procedures in your state and surrounding states. So y'all, please do what you can, where you can, when you can. Again, I love y'all. You're beautiful. Your soul is beautiful. Your energy is positive. You're important to me, your community, your family, and your friends. And I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here, making me a top streamer. And thank y'all for my money again. Y'all follow Nick Snacks and Crafts, as well as Dope Air Magazine, and everybody else that been tuning into the show at the Cherry Franklin Show. Y'all make sure y'all check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Subscribe, and check out the